now you're down a head coach, down an offensive coordinator.
If you had told me that, hey, in about 3 weeks, Wink Martindale will be the only remaining main coach or position coordinator, I would have, I still might yeet myself into the sun.
Well, let's talk the actual game that's going to be happening with Michigan and Texas. Because they haven't had to do that in a while.
Michigan is having a football game on the field. Wow.
What's man, because there's a lot. Because, Chip Lindsey, I don't even know if we mentioned that. He's leaving now, so he's not even going to be the coaching at all. So now you're down a head coach, down an offensive coordinator.
If you had told me that, hey, in about 3 weeks, Wink Martindale will be the only remaining main coach or position coordinator, I would have, I still might yeet myself into the sun. It's not a good time. Yeah. Chip Lindsey to Mizzou was a shock, at least to me. Maybe to the insiders it wasn't, or to the faux insiders it wasn't. They have a way of breaking news that they called all along when they absolutely didn't, but it's fine. Yeah, that's an interesting move there, especially when we talk about teams getting rated. Michigan's got such a young offense, right? Yeah. Now you don't have a head coach or an offensive coordinator, so the fears of guys like Bryce Bailey, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. But for the actual football, so a few opt-outs right now. Again, it's Monday, December 22nd, so this number will probably grow. But Michigan, some key opt-outs right now. Derek Moore has declared for the draft, Jayshawn Barham, and Giovanni El Hadi. El Hadi, if you're not familiar, is an offensive lineman. Obviously, Barham and Moore on the defense. And then Sharon Moore has opted out as well. I'm sorry. That was just too easy.
Honestly, I wanted to say it, and so I'm surprised.
If I say it, as the Michigan guy, if I say it, it hurts less and more at the same time.
And that's what I love.
For Texas actually has a ton of opt-outs right now. So CJ Baxter, the running back, is in the transfer portal. Jarrett Gibson is opted out, running back. Linebacker Anthony Hill Jr., safety Michael Taff, cornerback Malik Muhammad, and then two defensive ends, Trey Moore and Ethan Burke. So, and by the way, Texas fired their DC. So, Texas is, in one sense, let's understand that bowl games don't matter. But in another sense, this Citrus Bowl, if you're not going to the playoff, no bowl games matter. Citrus Bowl is a historic bowl. It's a classic bowl. Like, this is one you want to win. And Texas just does not have a lot on defense right now as far as guys who started most of the year. Where that's really where I think this game gets interesting, is because Michigan, because they have such a young offense, is, I would presume, unlikely to see a ton of opt-outs. Maybe Donovan McCulley. Again, all these things can change over the next 10 days, right? But think about the Michigan's, the Bryce Underwoods, the Jordan Marshalls, the Andrew Marsh, 3 offensive linemen that are freshmen. Like, you've got Jamar Browder will be in there. Michigan's offense probably doesn't look that different, to be quite honest. You've got guys like Marlon Klein who are deciding whether or not they want to declare for the draft or if they want to stay. They're probably waiting on coaches to see what that looks like. So Michigan's offense probably is at more or less full strength. Obviously, Justice Haynes is unlikely to play. We don't know what's going on with him yet, whether he's going to stay or go or what that looks like. But Michigan should have most of its offense against a Texas defense that looks a little bit depleted right now. However, Michigan's offense also doesn't have a coordinator or a head coach. Texas,
this might actually be a better thing.
Who knows, man? Biff Poggi held his own when in the games he played. Texas will, still have their offense. Their offense will look. I don't know if it'll look completely the same because, again, they've got a couple running backs transferring out or opting out. But you've got Arch Manning is going to play in this game. Ryan Wingo. I saw that. Oh, what's his name? The tight end, Jack Endries, is going to play in the game. And Michigan's going to have, no Derek Moore, no Jayshawn Barham. The reality is that from a football standpoint, like this should be a fun game. Whether you're a fan of these teams or not, this should be a really enjoyable game. These are obviously two major programs in college football. Both of them were on the, let's call it a game away from the playoff, right? They were on the cusp of the playoff. And didn't have the seasons that they wanted, but we're still right there in the mix until the very end. So these are two good football teams. It should be fun. I mean, Arch Manning against Bryce. I mean, that should be fun. There'll be plenty to watch for. My gut in this game, because my gut in this game says two things. One, it says I have no idea what this team is going to look like.
Yeah.
The other part of my gut says that I think Michigan may actually play a lot better in this game than people think. And I've kind of given you the reason why already. A depleted Texas defense with a Michigan offense that still has all their pieces in play. And I know the Michigan offense has had its, has sputtered at times. It's had these fits and starts and all that. And I also know that Texas has a pretty dang good quarterback of their own against the Michigan defense that will be missing some key players. But I do think that Michigan probably performs better than people expect in this game. Texas, I think, is 7.5-point favorites. And I do genuinely believe that X factors matter. And I mean, there's no team right now with more X factors than Michigan as far as these external circumstances going on around the Michigan program, where these are 18 to 22-year-old kids that, I mean, Poggi has even said, feel disappointed, feel betrayed, understandably so. And he talked about how practice has given them an opportunity to kind of escape from all that and just go be college student athletes. Go hit somebody, get some aggression out. I do feel like that makes a difference in a game like this. Listen, Texas doesn't want to be there. Texas doesn't want to be in this game. They thought they should have been in the playoff. Michigan doesn't want to be in that game either in one sense, but I think the players are ready to go play some football.
Yeah.
I think this is probably a really, really close game. I think the kids at Michigan in particular need a win, and I think they get one. I know they're touchdown plus underdogs. I don't think that really matters as much in the bowl games. I really don't. I'm going to take Michigan 23-20 over Texas.
So I don't necessarily disagree with your stuff when it comes to Michigan and Texas. I think given all the external circumstances, the stuff with Chip Lindsey, that team is going to be one that's going to be hungry. They're going to come out with some fire. They're going to want to prove that they still got it. And I think there's a lot of factors, though, from the Texas standpoint that I think make a difference. One of the biggest ones, I think, is Arch Manning. I think while this Texas team still has a lot of people on the defensive side of things that are going to opt out, even on the offensive side of the game that's going to opt out, I still think Arch Manning going to play in the game. He's going to outperform Bryce. I've not been a believer in Bryce at all this season. I think a lot of the games where he's had to play tougher competition, he's struggled. And a lot of them have been in his away games. Now, granted, this is a bowl game, so it's different. It's not like he's going into hostile territory.
It should be a pretty fair split.
It'll be a 50-50 split. Both fan bases are going to travel. But this is still going to be a good defense. It's not going to be the same defense that we saw throughout the season, which even then was still like a slight above average defense, I think. This is still going to be a decent team. It's going to be tough competition. And I've not seen him perform well against a team that's really been a competitive force. And so I struggle to think of a way that I think Michigan pulls this out if Arch plays, if still some of those key guys end up playing. I have this as Michigan losing 27-13.
Well, the points for Michigan, you have some precedent for that. Michigan has, I think, put up 13 points 3 different occasions this year, something like that, at least a couple. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a bad prediction either. Obviously, I took Michigan 23-20, but I mean, it's also bowl season, and you just never quite know how.
Well, and I thought last year, Alabama would absolutely blow them out, and then you saw a gritty performance. Now, that was with a handful of players for Michigan that still came out to play. Alabama still obviously had their guys, but I think what really hurts Michigan is the loss of Barnham and Derek Moore. I think both of those guys setting the edge would have made a huge difference, being able to get to Arch. I just don't think you're going to be able to get a ton of pressure on him, and I think that's going to be what kills it.
The Rivalry Podcast is part of the Varsity Network from Learfield and the River Podcast Network from River Radio Ministries.
New episodes out every Monday.
Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you're listening right now, and follow on social media at RivalPod and RivalPod.com.
And if you like what you hear, share with a friend so they can listen too.